The Digital Collections programme was set up to try and systematise our attempts to get the collections out for wider use. There was always some digitisation going on. Researchers would image particular things, but it was fairly small scale. So we're also trying to develop the mass workflows that will help us get through our collection, because we have something like 80 million items here. So it's really great if we can get that data out to the world to enable both more of the science that we do now, the taxonomy and the things that people might associate with a collection like this, but also the big data modelling and the new kinds of models of science. There are quite a lot of fun challenges in digitising the collection. One is just the variety. We talk about trying to come up with industrial scale processes for completely non-standard items. So even if you think about the insects, that's a huge percentage of it, something like 30 million out of our 80 million insects. And there's so much variety there. There's everything from things you can only see under a microscope to some stick insects that are sort of nearly a foot long. You have things with big colourful wings, things without, things that you need different angles of for scientific study and for identification. So that variety is probably our greatest challenge. We found up to 17 labels on one pinned insect before now, including some lovely drawings of the specimen. So that's really great to find, but if you're the digitiser peeling those labels off, it's quite time consuming and difficult. We put all of our collections data out onto our data portal, where it's freely and openly available for anyone, and it's 5-star linked open data there. We use Creative Commons licenses to make sure that people can get at that data. That's typically CC0 for the data and by attribution for the images, so it's quite an open license for people to use that data. The data portal was built here. It was built on an open source software called CCAN, and the code is all on GitHub, so we try to be open with our processes as well as with our data. We have exceptions to our open data policy. Partly, obviously, there are legal exceptions around GDPR. If, for example, we have living collectors and their dates may be on the thing, we have to redact that. There's also considerations like poaching and use of sites and things like that. We have to be a bit careful. Geography is one of the most important scientific pieces of data, where things are, but sometimes that can lead to problems, so we have to look at the balance of risks there. By having the collection available digitally, we really hope many more people will use it, and we've started to measure that impact. And even with only around 5% of the collections digitised, we're seeing a huge impact, and we're seeing, for example, over 17 billion records have been downloaded from the data portal. That's including both collections and research records. What's really exciting to me is those papers that cite our data cover a huge range of topics, evolution, those kinds of areas, but also there's lots of areas like climate change and human health and invasive species, water, all kinds of topics that are really important to our society and to a future where people and the planet can both thrive. I hope there's lots more exciting digitisation in our future. When we have an image of a specimen and its labels, there's a lot we can do with that. We've done some great prototypes using machine learning that can segment the images into specimens and labels, and then can put those through other processes like optical character recognition to read the text, or colour analysis or measurement for the specimen that can draw out traits and help with identification, hopefully moving one day towards more automated identifications from museum collections, which would be really cool for people out in the field. We hope as well to do more linking with the data, so there's a lot of published texts, for example, the ones when we have a specimen from which a species has been described, there'll be a written record of that description, and it would be really great to be able to link that, which is often available digitally, to the specimen itself directly, rather than sending people off to look for it themselves. There's lots of ways we could link up the data also with chemical analysis, genomic analysis, other kinds of data that may be out there around our collections. It would be really good to have all of that done automatically.